Welcome to Mental Break.
Hello. Thank you so much for coming here.
We're trying to decide what we want to open up about today.
Yesterday, I was after the show talking to someone, and they were like, "What do you do for work?" I was like, "Oh," and before I finished it, someone else was like, "Oh, you're like Egyptian. You probably do something in tech." And I was like, I thought that was like more like Indian.
Yeah.
And then
I think of white people have like sort of just a blanket
Brown
racism
tech.
over it. Yeah. Aren't you in tech?
I am, but
And that's why we put a blanket. We're right.
that's the kicker to this. He was right.
Yeah. Is it racism if it's always the case?
It's not race. You're not racist if you're right. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's the same. Yeah,
That's what should be on the cars of police officers. When I first got my car, like my first car, I've only had one car.
So you have a car?
Yeah, it's gone now. I was like in an abusive relationship with that car because it would break down like every month, and every month I'd be like, "It's different now. I got it fixed."
That's a toxic relationship.
And then it would break down on Starro Drive once a month, like clockwork, and I would be my mom would be like,
Once a month is not what you say after you say it's an abusive relationship with a car.
Well, my mom would be like, "Yeah, you gotta get rid of that thing." And I'm like, "No, I can change it.
I can fix it.
I can fix this car." And
How many metaphors can we put in 10 minutes is the challenge right now.
Yeah.
And you just dumped it at the end of the day, huh?
I sort of. I had to get taken away, basically.
Somebody else.
Me.
It's somebody else's problem now.
But when I got that car, it was like right around when I had like become atheist. And
such an intro. Yeah. Has nothing to do with the car, but we're gonna find a connection.
Yeah. What was perfectly ironic about it is that whoever had owned the car previously had put a sticker that said "Grace happens," like they were clearly a Christian. Mm-hmm. And the guys at the dealership were like, "We can't get this off, no matter what." So I had just become an atheist and driving around after getting in a heated discussion with my parents about,
that's like
the Old Testament, and then driving away in a car angrily that says "Grace happens."
This is like the equivalent of a chick getting her boyfriend's name tattooed on her face.
Yeah. It was like, I was like, it's still just like, I might as well have just gotten a tattoo that said Jesus.
Yeah, Jonathan.
Yeah, I love Jesus. And
damn.
Yeah, because then there was, and also just so many people would ask me about it, and like there would be like if a Christian saw me in a parking lot, they'd be like, "I love your bumper sticker," and like give me like a long look in the eyes, like we both speak the same Christian language, and I'd be like, "No, fuck that shit, dude."
Where's Bellstone when you need her? Give her that car. Fits. Immediate personality.
Yeah. Would she say "Grace happens"? I think she would.
The only reason I ref on Bell right away, the only Christian I know, like real.
She's the only. I mean,
Real-
I know a lot
real
of Christians,
Christian.
but she's the only good Christian.
The
I
only,
know.
like a good ref. I want to say something unrelated. This podcast, you and I were pretty cool. And then we started doing this podcast, and it feels like a relationship.
Yeah.
It's right. It feels like a relationship. It feels like you and I have a baby.
Yeah, it feels like we got to like this weekend. Who has the podcast kind of thing? And we're like, and anytime we're like, are you gonna upload it to Spotify? Yeah. And then it's like getting the kid ready for school.
Dude, I never realized how much of a relationship this is until
we started having sex.
After that, you started to be like, hey, I kind of want to bring more people into this podcast. I want to start having guests. And I'd be like, no, Jonathan, I think it should just be the two of us. And you're like, but it would be really cool if we bring people into it. And I'm just like an abused person in the relationship. Like, I will just do it to keep the relationship going.
And I was like, I've got so much conversation in me that I want to spread around. And you're like, I'm a more like conversation with one person kind of
I am
gal.
like, hey, let's just keep it, like small, like, like tight, under control. You're like, it'd be really cool if you have more people and, they can be sitting with us and watching us.
You might like it too. We can talk to the same person at the same time.
They gotta sit on a chair with us, That is a relation. This is like an abusive 10-year marriage.
Yeah,
we're trying to keep afloat. And I'm not being serious right now, but like, it's
cut
like,
to a clip of me hitting you.
Fuck. Thought we're not gonna talk about it.
I'm done talking to just
idiot.
you.
But I just thought about it yesterday when we were talking about like, in the future episodes, we're gonna start maybe get every few episodes, we're gonna get one of our friends to be on the podcast. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know. And then you're like, I think it's gonna be a really good idea. And I was on Field that day, open Field, and I saw this girl.
And you saw my ad for podcast guests.
Something like that. She was like, hey, looking to hook up with someone. Quick FYI, non-monogamous, not ethically, aka cheating.
Yeah,
She's like,
I'm into non-ethical polyamory.
She's non-ethically non-monogamous.
Yeah, that's like, how like Jonah Hill did therapy talk to like be a piece of shit.
No,
You know what I mean?
no.
Oh, he had like a very toxic relationship with a surfer.
Damn, was this before he lost weight or after? Is this why he lost weight?
Who knows? I mean, month to month.
Okay.
He's like my car. But he was basically like, you can't, I don't like when you post bikini pics. I don't like when you talk to other guys.
I saw that.
But the way he was, instead of just saying like, hey, I'm super jealous, he was like, these are my boundaries and we need to accept each other's boundaries. And if we can't communicate openly about how I think you're a slut, then...
Then such a good like boundary word.
Like, oh,
my boundary is you cannot be a slut.
Yeah, my boundary is you're hurting me. So that's what a lot of. I'm watching a lot of Love Island with Maddie.
Yeah,
and that show's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of the guys on there use therapy talk to be like, you just got to put yourself first and like you got to be open to exploring it. And then
to hook
anyway,
up with a girl.
so I sucked Jessica's tits.
That's the best transition if there is one.
Yeah,
I've never heard a better transition.
There's an amazing clip on Love Island of a guy explaining to his girlfriend when they went off to like Casa Amor or whatever that he sucked a girl's tits, and it's just so British. And he's like, all right, so Renee's going to tell you that I sucked her tits, and the girl goes, what? And he's like, I sucked her tits or whatever. I sucked her tits or whatever is the funniest way to say you cheated. Dude, or whatever.
I've seen the clips from that. The girls are so orange.
Yeah,
they're so orange.
Too much makeup.
Really orange.
Yeah.
Like English orange.
Yeah, it's something. The British Love Island is different than the American one, and one of the big differences is the amount of makeup.
I'll let you know. You and I talked about Southridge, Massachusetts, more than anyone has ever brought that town in the history of this town. Like we gave that town more publicity than they have ever done.
It's only they get publicity from this podcast and like heroin busts.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember one time in Southbridge, we had like our small community that we would call it the Village. It was like I guess an apartment complex sort of thing. Yeah. But a lot of the people who lived there were like former drug addicts. Former. And one time I was playing basketball with this kid, and we saw the FDA pull up. Oh. And they set up a ladder, and we realized while we were playing basketball that they were setting up a ladder to go into my friend's house, and they arrested his mom.
Why?
Drugs.
A ladder.
She was
on bust through the door.
She was on the top floor, and it was probably locked or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's a lot of effort just to break into an apartment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was. They must have tried to go in first,
Yeah.
and were like, it's not really worth.
That's crazy.
I don't know how much authority the FDA has. Can they be like?
FDA. Isn't FDA are the people who make insulin? The ones who
Yeah.
approve drugs, right?
Well, then who? The
The
DEA.
DEA. Yeah, the DEA. I was like, wait a minute. She was selling faulty
She was selling
insulin shots that was not FDA approved.
FDA.
This went from a sad story to a funny
Yeah.
story real quick. That shows you the level of education we have both have.
Well, she went to jail for whatever she was doing.
Damn.
But it was awkward because then we just were like watching her get arrested from this
Did you
basketball
stop
court.
the pickup game?
Yeah, we sort of just like held the ball for a minute.
Damn.
And he was just like, "Can I stay with you tonight?" Kinda.
God damn.
But I think we did go back to playing.
I mean, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's a tie game.
it's nothing. Yeah. it's basketball. It doesn't stop for anyone.
Yeah, and if he didn't finish the game, I would have been like, I would have beat your ass if your mom didn't get arrested.
You'll be like, well,
Sick
now
of
you
that
actually
excuse.
can't stay with me tonight because you fucking idiot. Okay. Episode.
Subscribe.
Smash.
Smash.
Anything. Just
Yeah.
smash.